Hello, everyone, and welcome to the XDC Network AMA series. Let me start with a quick run on the objective of this XDC Network AMA series. Now, this series has been conceptualized and it started sometimes in the last quarter of the last year. And it is to basically showcase the product portfolio of the various partners and the application teams who have built their projects on the XDC network, people who have collaborated with the XDC team and to do some work on the XDC system and XDC network. And the objective here is to create an awareness on all these offerings onto the power of what could be done with the XDC network. And in this way, we kind of enrich the community, scale up the community, and further build up the ecosystem. So it is a kind of a win-win situation for all the stakeholders who are involved in this XDC network. So that's why we had this XDC AMA series. We started with that, and I think we have already had around 10 odd or 10, 11 people who have entities who have come and showcased their products, what they have done on the XDC network. Now, a little bit of my introduction. My name is Meenu, and I am a technology evangelist. And in the blockchain space, I help different founders to build up their communities and develop their ecosystem. And over the last couple of years, I have been working on my podcast, Blockchain Hustle, the channel that you are watching this episode on. And I have put together quite a bit of content, which is both educational and informative, on topics ranging from the basic concepts of blockchain and towards tokenomics, towards the use of blockchain in various domains, let's say in public network, in the public sector, and other spaces. There should be around 60, 70 odd episodes till now, and I would strongly recommend you to go take a look at it. It is available on the usual channels, like on YouTube, the channel that you're looking at, watching right now, and on the Apple, on Podbean, Audible, and the others. So guys, go take a look at it. Thank you. Now, coming to today's session is with Impel. And Impel is an alternative solutions platform for sending the ISO 20022 compliant financial messages. And to share more about this platform, we have today its founder and CEO, Troy S. Wood. He's our guest who's going to share about Impel today. A very warm welcome to you, Troy.
Yeah, thank you, Minu. We're so pleased to have you have us on the program. Thank you very much.
Pleasure to have you. So where are you taking this call from?
Well, I'm currently located in Dallas, Texas. That said, we're a worldwide project, so not just localized to the States.
Yeah. I think also it is with this, whenever we talk about, I don't say where you are based or something, because people are always going around the thing. There's no one specific geographical location where one is located, right, nowadays.
That's right. Yeah. New meaning to international business. So even though I'm in Dallas, Texas, I conduct business with people all over the world on a daily basis. So it's fantastic. Yeah.
Awesome. So, Troy, how we would go around this session today is I would start with putting a little bit of asking you to put a little bit of a context between Impel and the XDC network as to what is the connection or what is the relation between the two, and why did you guys at Impel choose the XDC network?
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you. So I would like to say that I've been involved with the XDC network or XinFin when it was just an idea on a napkin over about 5 years ago, really. And so it's my pleasure and my honor to be tasked with the challenge of bringing these service offerings to market through this company, which we use it as an umbrella for several different service offerings. And so I've already, I've known about the XDC network and the strengths, which I'd like to talk about quickly is the XDC network is a fork of Go Ethereum, so it has all the strengths that Ethereum has, but it's a lot better in ways for scalability, much higher scalability, upwards of 2,000 plus transactions per second. It's super fast, a block time of 2 seconds per block, and then the fees are much lower than Ethereum offers. So we're talking about like 0.00001 cent per transaction or less. So super fast, super cheap to use, and plus we have high military grade security on the blockchain on the network. So there's a lot of benefits over some of the other chains that are out there currently.
So these are all the reasons that why you went around to develop it on the XDC network.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So let's get on to the platform, the Impel platform. And here I would request you to go and share about the platform. But before we go ahead with that, the basic question first. What is ISO 20022?
Yeah, well, so the ISO stands for International Organization for Standardization. And so they've been around for a long time. And so it's just not about financial messages. They have a whole spectrum of different offerings to, when you think about people communicating or computer systems communicating, you need to send the message and receive the message in a way that is understandable and correct. So, for example, if I'm on the States and I say, "Hey, let's go to a football game or a football match," is a totally different meaning of a type of sport than if I'm over in Europe and I say, "Hey, let's go to a football match," because in the States, football was football, and what over in Europe they call football is what we call soccer. So if you can relate to that on sending information from one business to another business, it needs to be right on the money, no pun intended. So there's no misunderstandings or negativity that takes place in those transactions. And so Swift introduced the ISO 20022 format back in 2004, so really about 18 years ago. And these banks and financial institutions are really slow adopters, and a lot of people refer to them as dinosaurs in a way on their technology. And so it's taken years or decades to move from the initial proposition to where we are today. Moving that direction. A lot of countries over in Europe have already adopted this new format, this ISO 20022. Lately, I think it was last Friday that here in the United States, the Federal Reserve, they postponed the mandatory adoption till 2025. And so even when they set these dates and these guidelines, they still kind of get pushed back because it takes so much time and effort to get it right and get them implemented.
So what you have mentioned as far as the deadline is concerned is they have pushed it back to 2025 now.
Well, for the US, for the Federal Reserve System, that's correct.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good to know. Now let's get on to the share on the platform, on to Impel itself. Like, what does the platform offer, and how is Impel different from the existing messaging services? And basic question is, why should one go for Impel?
Yeah. Well, that's a very good question. And so this is where we shine bright, is so we can offer sending the same financial messages over the XDC network compared to other offerings that are out there, such as Swift or SEPA. First of all, those companies, they charge really high integration cost for these banks or whoever adopts their services. They have annual membership fees. They charge high bulk message fees and whatnot. Well, Impel's offering is at this point, anyone who wants to adopt using the API to send these messages will only have to pay the XDC network's gas fees to send the messages. which is
Okay.
basically free. And the
Mm.
neat thing about the API is really robust. So you could really send one message at a time, or you could roll up 1,000 messages at one financial messages at one time and send that as a transaction. So it'll be up to the users to decide on how they want to implement it, on what works for them in their processes. So
Mm.
there's huge financial savings and cost between the getting it integrated into their systems, and then annual membership fees and whatnot. We won't be charging those like the other people who do now.
Mm. So you mentioned about the savings. Is it also the savings in terms of time?
Well, so we have the API. So if they're an existing user of the ISO messaging, they can use Impel's API to plug into their existing systems, and so it's kind of like a plug and play, if you will.
Okay. And it's
And
pretty
so
I mean, it's convenient to do that.
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Mm.
Mhm.
User
Yeah.
friendly. Okay.
Right. And then also we're geared towards, say, think about emerging markets in Africa or in Asia, to
Mm.
where there are startup institutions or startup banks, and they just can't afford to get on Swift or SEPA or these other
Mm.
platforms because
Mm.
it's just too expensive, too costly. Well,
Yeah.
Impel service offering is a great solution for them to adopt and to use and get them in the game and get them using this neat technology.
Mm. And I was going through your website or perhaps one of the articles around Impulse offering, and there was a mention about people can use XDC as a collateral there.
Well, that's right. So right now, the way that it works is on traditional systems. When, let's say, you're a customer with Bank A and I'm a customer with Bank B, and you want to wire me $100. Well,
Mm.
you tell your bank to wire my bank the $100, and
Mm.
so let's say they use Swift or like kind. They'll send a financial message from Bank A to Bank B that says, "Hey, we want to move $100 from this account to this account." And
Mm.
then they use what they call Nostro Vostro accounts, to where they're placeholders for the funds. And then at the end of the day, they use a central banking system to settle up,
Mm.
which, let's say last Friday in the US, last Friday, you wanted to wire me the money and it didn't get processed. And then Monday, we have a holiday, July 4th. Well, the banks are closed. So
Mm.
that transaction, takes all the rest of Friday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, all day Monday, and may not even get till Tuesday or Wednesday to be processed. Well,
Mm.
and part of Impel service offerings is we can add collateral to the financial message. So right now, let's say it's XDC, which is the native coin on the XDC network. Bank A could use
Mm.
XDC as collateral to send to Bank B. And then once they receive that
Mm.
collateral, there'll be several options on what they can do with it. They can keep the XDC, they can exchange it for fiat right away and have fiat delivered it into the account, or hold on to the XDC, or
Mm.
other tokens on the XDC network, which are XRC, what we call XRC20 tokens. Could be a
Mm.
stable coin of whatnot. And they can keep
Mm.
that stable coin as well, or convert that to fiat through an exchange. So we offer a lot of different ways for these banks to choose how they want to conduct business. We're not limited in capacity. We're really
And
robust.
mm. And it expedites the settlements then.
That's right. So again, the XDC network has a 2-second block time. And
Mm.
so once Bank A sends the message over to Bank B, literally you're talking about settlement within seconds if they
Mm.
really
Mm.
want to. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. And another thing, if you could share on that, I understand you guys have a bridge to the R3 Corda platform.
That's correct. Right. Yeah. And so right now we're the only bridge that exists to the Arthur Reporter platform. And so on the Porter platform, what they allow is for different corporates and institutions to negotiate, hammer out details of contracts and things like that. But there's no way
Mm.
to settle an agreement with a payment on the Porter platform. And so what we've done is allow for corporates and institutions to use digital assets to make payment or settle out on an agreement that they've defined on the Quarter platform. So it's going to be very useful over traditional methods.
Okay. And there was also a thing about a hybrid thing that you can send some of the data from the R3 onto the XDC network, and it becomes a kind of a hybrid thing. So both private as well as public advantages are there in that.
That's right. So a big portion of what the R3 Quarter platform is privacy, to where that data does not get out to the public, and so they can they can keep that privacy. That's right.
Mm-hmm. And so only a little bit of the data or a limited data set goes onto the XDC network.
That's correct. And that's the same thing really with our financial messaging offering. We use a layer 2 solution. So when we send the financial messages from bank A to bank B, then what we like to say, it's unhackable in a way that that data can't be traced or can't be seen over the network.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So I'll come on to the security and the privacy of the data later on, but just a couple of questions which had come over on the different channels when we put together the information about this AMA, sorry. One of them was that about testing out the transactions. So somebody had asked that, can anyone test the transactions directly from the website, or do we need to register? What is the process and so forth?
Yeah, that's right. And so we opened it up to the world. And as far as we understand it, is there's no one offering a live demo of sending ISO 222 compliant financial messages over in any network. So I think we're the very first to offer that, which we're very pleased to do so. So anyone in the world, whether you're a bank or a financial institution or an XDC supporter or not, or anyone in between, can go to our internet site at impel.global, and you're correct. So every person or entity that wants to try out the demo, it's a self-paced demo. They could do it at their own time, at their own convenience, the luxury of their office or their home or wherever they want to. They go to impel.global, they register their information on who they are. They will be emailed a link to the demo. They click that link to the demo. It opens up the demo, and as mentioned, they can use that as many times as they want to. It's live over the production version of the XDC network. They can choose to send collateral or no collateral, what fiat they want it in dollars or euros, and then they can watch that transaction take place over the XDC network. And we even provide down to the raw data in the XML data format that they can review the transaction, the data.
Okay. So do you have any kind of numbers or something as to how many trials have been done, how many people have come onto the site and check that?
We're very pleased with the adoption and people taking an interest in doing the demo. Every day the numbers go up. And so it's really neat to see.
Yeah. Okay, great. So there's one question rather, is that some of the blockchain networks, they're already looking into the ISO 20022 standard. And some of the networks have also partnered with the governments and they're running the pilot CBDCs. So what kind of value proposition does Impel have for these blockchain networks?
Yeah, so what I like to say is we can do anything and everything that other people are doing, but let's just say we could do it better in ways, because what's so great is our backbone and what our service offerings run on is the XDC network. I mean, that's really helps us to do things that other networks and blockchains cannot do because it's so robust, because of the security. So all of our master nodes or validating nodes are KYC compliant, which I would ask, anyone out there on any of these other networks, if their nodes are KYC compliant, or can any random person spin up a node? We also have um, 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 oh, excuse me. Also, my train of thought there. The
Yeah.
so we are constantly doing forensic monitoring on the network for any kind of bad actors to identify quickly and to get rid of. And so there's the growth and the opportunities for what Impel brings to market are really endless, and we can go
Yeah.
toe to toe with anybody else out there.
Yeah. So talking about the opportunities, I'd read somewhere about that the ISO 222, it can help unlock the various, value added opportunities. Like, for example, banks and fintechs, they can rethink as how they can integrate the payments into their business, into their growth strategies, into the infrastructure, and perhaps more. So how can the, again, getting back onto the things as how can these financial institutions they can leverage Impulse platform and look into unlocking such opportunities?
Yeah. So if you think about this, the old standards is sends a limited amount of data across
Yeah.
from, let's say, point A to point B. Let's say back to bank A to bank B. And what happens is there could be a lot of mistakes or um, situations to where it doesn't become as efficient as it should. But with the new standards, just allows a lot more data to come through and a lot more real world verbiage, if you will, to come
Hmm.
across. And so
Hmm.
that limits mistakes, limits problems and creates opportunities for endless, business um, um, use cases.
Hmm. Hmm. Yep. Okay. So you have been mentioning about and the gas fees and other structure, the transaction fee structure. So I understand that Impel will not charge for the implementation. You mentioned about annual membership. You're not going to charge the annual membership. There is no per usage fees for the financial institutes for these financial messaging services, and that the only cost to these institutes, these entities, for these sending the messages and the payments is the gas fees for the XDC network, which in this case is pretty negligible, right? So, what the question now is, what exactly is Impel's revenue model?
Yeah, good. And that's a great question. So our primary focus is growing and gaining mass adoption of the XDC network. And so to
Yeah.
do that, we're trying to make it as easy as possible for institutions or businesses to adopt Impel service offerings that run on the XDC network. That's our main
Mm,
number one objective. And
mm,
Impel is, you can think of it like this: it's a startup spinoff out of the XDC network, and so it's funded by
mm,
a grant from the XinFin FinTech organization.
mm,
But at some point, we will be generating revenues, and there are a lot of different ways that we can generate revenue. But that's not our main focus at this point. Our main focus is to gain adoption, introduce the XDC network, and get it ramped up. But over time, we'll be able to be self-sustaining and the like. It'll just take some time to get there.
okay. So, but do you have any idea as to how would you further down the road, much down the road, on the revenues? Do you have any ideas that you can share right now?
Well, a lot of that are under non-disclosure agreements and whatnot, so we're not able to say too much. At this
Mm,
point, I'd say be on the lookout for our press releases, and we're on our partnerships and announcements.
no problems. So there is one question on the chat right now. How can we invest?
Well,
You
so
you 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 generated interest now, Troy.
yeah, that's fantastic. So we really love seeing all the support from the XTC Network community members. And there's so many people. I get contacted literally on a daily basis on it. When how can I get involved? How can we support you? How can we invest in you, and so forth. But the thing is Impel has no desire, no interest at this point to create a token on the XTC network for people
Mm,
to buy into as a speculation
mm,
vehicle. So we do not have any token like that at this point, or plan to in the future. So if you're going to support us, what we'd like to say is, you can support the XDC network. The XDC network has a native coin, the XDC coin, which is on a lot of exchanges. You can support the project, by that, as well as we're on social media, and you can invest your time and your energy into help promoting Impel and the service offerings via social media.
That's a very refreshing take, I must say, Troy, because mostly people talk about the tokens, their tokenomics, and the airdrops, different incentivization, etc. But here you have it as support us by the community engagement. And I think that's a pretty good thing because especially in this world of blockchain, it is more on the community engagement. And I mean, that's a very, very big cog in the success of any project, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's right. And what's really neat is what we talked about before is we're a worldwide global project. So you could be any citizen at any country, anywhere around the world. And no matter, where you go, we'll always be there. You could access our service offerings or, be a part of what we're doing.
Yep. So there is one, I mean, apart from the business or the technical thing, there is one question as to what exactly does the word Impel mean? I mean,
well,
the etymology of of the name of your company.
Yeah, well, so if you think about if you're moving, you're moving one item from point A to point B. You're impelled, to move something. So impel means to, push forward.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now let's get to the security part. You did mention about the movement of some of the data, for example, and stuff like that. And you mentioned about KYC and the nodes being KYC, right? All of them being KYC compliant. So just share a little bit more about how secure is this API, the platform, and the data privacy here, which the data which passes through your.
Well, we feel very confident about our security, and security is utmost important for us. That's as high as it could go in our efforts on what we're doing. And so, talk about the network, the XDC network. Number one is all validating nodes, either master nodes or standby nodes. They have to stake 10 million XDC coins to become an official node. And so a lot of people don't have that kind of wherewithal to stake 10 million XDC on a node. That helps out a ton to keep out bad actors. It's not like anyone could just spin up a node in their bedroom and start causing mayhem on that. And then so we also mentioned that each node is KYC compliant, so they have to submit their personal information identification when they run a node. And then we also have that military grade security for forensic monitoring of any bad actors on that network. So a lot of our backbone of what we are already has a lot of built-in security measures built into it. And then on top of that, for the financial messaging, when you send a transaction from point A to point B, we send it in a way that can't be accessed. So that's very important when it comes to security and making sure that data stays private because it doesn't they can't afford for it to be access to the public. And then at the same time too, on the R3 quarter bridge, we have security measures put in place there where we have where you hear a lot of bridges that are getting hacked, especially there was one recently in the news for a really high dollar amount. Well, we allow for whitelisted wallet addresses to for a restriction on where the digital assets could be moved in and out of. And also we limit the amount of transactions on a regular basis. So they can't wipe everything out in one Swift hack or something like that. So we take security very important.
Yeah. Actually, security has always been important, but I think going further down the road, this is going to be much. It's going to gain more prominence and become one of the key, maybe the differentiating factor as to why I would go on one platform and not onto another one. So I think lots of players are putting a lot of attention onto the security also.
Mhm. That's right. Yeah, it's a must. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a priority number one with us.
Hmm. Good to hear that. Okay, so getting on to the ecosystem, Troy. So could you share about what are your current partnerships? What are your future partnerships? What do you have in the pipeline? A little bit of a share on how you guys are planning to build up a complete ecosystem around this, and also about any future events. That's one of the questions which has come up in the chat. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, those are really great questions, and I'm sad to say that I'm not going to be able to expound on much of what you've asked, uh, due to privacy and as we mentioned, some of our partnerships and who we're working with, we're not allowed to release that information, so we just have to wait until it's publicly announced, through our PR channels. Uh, but it's really endless on what can be done, where adoption for Impel service offerings, who can use it, how it can be used. And even though we're just starting with two basic service offerings, one, financial messaging with the ISO 222 standard, and then also the R3 quarter bridge. Well, these are just what we're starting with on our service offerings, but it's really sky's the limit when it comes to how the XDC network could be utilized for conducting businesses and use cases across the globe on a variety of different businesses.
Okay. One thing, Troy, you had mentioned about the demos and stuff earlier, right? When did you guys start, and when is the platform going live? It's not live yet, right?
Well, it is live, yeah. So we
It is live.
both our,
Okay.
our financial messaging and the R3 quarter bridge is live. That's correct.
Okay. And when did it go live? If I can just get the timeline on that.
Yeah, recently. Well, where are we in June? So it's say in second quarter. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Great. Okay. So it's pretty recent.
That's
Was
right.
getting everything into the timeline. Okay.
That's right. Well, and believe it or not, I mean, some of the software development efforts
Yeah.
in combination, it really took years to get to where we are today. So it's just not something
Yeah.
that could be spun up overnight or in a couple of weeks or a couple of months. It really takes years of experience in coding to get it to where what we've done.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay. One thing on the roadmap, I mean, you have shared in bits and pieces across this conversation about uh, what you guys are planning to do and so forth. But could you just kind of put it around, summarize it here as to where do you find Impel in the next 2 years?
Well, we would love to see like I said, mass adoption globally through banks and fintechs. And as we grow and mature, we'll be expanding other service offerings to, let's say, corporates. If any corporate wants to send payments or funds from their account to another corporate, we can handle that. So really, when we say the sky is the limit, it's really wide open. And we've made it in a way to where it becomes a no-brainer for people to say, yes, I want to use that or try it out. And so we feel very confident in what we're doing and where we're going. So it's just a matter of time before the momentum picks up. And I'd like to say, I don't know if Impel will become a household name, but I know the XDC network will. So we're looking forward to that.
No, I would hope that even Impel, but Troy, what I was looking at is if you could share as like in the roadmap, you have some milestones, maybe the number of entities or partners you would have, the clients you would have. Do you have some kind of these numbers that you can share right now?
Well, again, we don't necessarily, we don't have any public information to share about that. So that's just unfortunately something that the community will have to wait and see as we move forward.
Sure. I guess everyone would be keenly looking forward to that.
So please forgive us, on that matter. But we're doing everything we can, and essentially we work for the XDC network community, and we're on a daily basis. That's what we're focused on. and bringing real world adoption and use cases and
Hmm.
uh, across the globe.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's actually pretty commendable because when I started with the introduction, it is like the partners and the application teams to just basically showcasing the products and the portfolio. It's also the power of the XDC network as to what all can be done with it. So kind of a demonstration on that.
That's right. So it's really so strong and robust that with smart contracts and the like, it's endless on what can be handled.
Hmm. One general question, Troy, and I would like to seek your view, your thoughts on that, is the relation between the ISO 20022 and the crypto tokens, right? So the standard compliant crypto tokens, tokens like your Ripple's XRP, Stellar, XDC, Algo from Algorand, and I guess there are quite a few more. Do these tokens have an advantage over the other tokens, the tokens which are non-compliant? And will this compliance enhance the institutional adoption?
Okay, so those are very good questions, and the fact of the matter is the exit. I really love and appreciate the way that XDC the network was designed
Yeah.
originally, and then what it can handle. And so that's really where I say either the success or the failure will come from. And so
Hmm.
um, we're really looking good and really outshine a lot of the other blockchain networks because of what the XDC network can do and what it can handle. That's
Hmm.
number one. Then the rest is the software that can be developed over on top of the XDC network to handle financial
Hmm.
messaging or like the
Hmm.
R3 Porter Bridge and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. So let's get on to the last section, which was on the team and the community. So could you do a share on your team?
Sure. Well, really, it boils down to so our part of our partners and our advisors are Atul and Ritesh, who are the co-founders of the XTC network, and then Andre Casterman, which he's a industry celebrity. He was with Swift for I want to say 24 years. He's one of our advisors,
Hmm.
and then myself. So that's part of our leadership team.
Okay. And if somebody has to reach out with some queries, with some perhaps proposal or some suggestions, recommendations as to what they would like to see on this platform and stuff like that, or if they have any issues. So what are the different contact channels that you have?
Yeah, that we love all the interaction. So if anyone
Hmm.
has any questions or ideas or suggestions on Impel.global's homepage, we have a contact form there with different subject matters. And please, by all means, we would love to hear from the community or any interested parties. If you'd like to do any pilot programs, if you have any questions about any of the service offerings that we're doing, or if you'd like to
Hmm.
be involved one way or the other, yeah, please
Hmm.
use the contact form there on the internet site, and then we'll respond.
Great. And a final pitch to the audience here.
Yeah, so we're doing really great things, and if we have a few minutes, we'd like to run through the demo live. Do we have a couple minutes for that?
Yeah, let me try that. Okay, so there is one question about, before I get on to that, I just saw this question. How does Mr. Andre Casterman help Impel?
Oh well, it's endless on how Andre helps us out. So number one, he's out in the field, and he has a lot going on with other ventures on the XTC network for trade finance and whatnot. And so he's also helped guiding us introductions, that are interested parties that are out there, as well
Hmm,
as our service offerings on what needs to be done on to meet demand.
great. Okay, so let me just try sharing the screen with you, Troy, and then you could put the demo that you were talking about. Just let me get that. Oh, uh, I'm afraid I'll have to quit this. We should have done that prior to starting the
Hmm.
session.
Okay.
1 second.
Well, yeah. The neat thing about
Yeah.
it is any of the viewers, no, now or any time later, anyone can come to Impel.global and click on the ISO 222 demo link. There are several call to actions throughout the internet site. They just put in some information. They'll be emailed a link, and then they can click that link. And I would like to say that that link is for that person only. They can't share the link with anyone else.
Mm.
If they do send that link to someone else, it just won't work. And so I would encourage people to keep that link and store it for future use. And if they forget or whatever, they just have to come, register again and be emailed a new link.
Okay. So actually, that same link can be used for the demo multiple times by that person, by the entity,
By the same person, correct. It just can't be
by the
shared.
same
Each
person.
person
Okay.
has to
Okay.
register it and receive their own
Yeah.
emailed link. Mhm.
Okay, great. Okay. So before I'm sorry for that demo thing, but I'll need to quit this. It would not have been logistically possible. But Troy, before I wrap up this episode, is there anything that we might have, or I might have missed out in this chat and that you would like to share with the audience right now?
Yeah, well, the neat thing about it is, unfortunately, we're not able to do the demo, but that's a great example on where, let's say, technology fails some part of the time. So when we're implementing the new ISO 222 standards, it's to mitigate a
Yeah.
lot of the troubles that banks and corporates have on exchanging data in one another. So
Hmm.
it's going to be really helpful
Hmm.
for making things better and how business can conduct themselves.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, thanks a lot, Troy, for your time and for your share, and deeply appreciate. And I would hope that the community and the audience also benefit a lot from that, and they're now aware of Impel's offering. And I wish you all the best in your project. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, for having us here. And we really love what you do at the Blockchain Hustle and glad to be a part of it. So thank you very much. And I'd say keep an eye on us. We're doing great, wonderful things. And where we're going to be over the next year or two is going to be really fantastic.
Thank you. Thanks, Troy. Thanks a lot. And thank you, community, for your support as usual. And I do hope you have gained some insights into this platform, Impel, and you're keenly looking forward to how this project progresses further. And till the next episode, you guys take care and cheers. Bye bye.
Cheers. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you for listening. Cheers. Bye bye.